Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife video for you. This one's going to take some explanation. That's why I have a knife sitting out here, because it's kind of encapsulates what I'm talking about, but not really. This is the USA-made blade, full titanium half-track Spyderco, exclusive to them. But I'm not going to be talking about exclusives. I'm not going to be talking about customs. I'm not going to be talking about sprint runs. I'm going to be talking about production knives that are difficult to obtain. I'm not going to say unobtainable because everything I'm showing you here is obtainable, but it may be kind of hard to get your hands on. And every time I post a video about a knife like this, several of these in particular, or on Instagram, anything, I get some kind of anger in response of just, just people really upset that I even talk about it because they can't get one, or it's going to take 6 months to a year to get one. It's that fear of missing out. I think it's just that is an actual psychological term now, just the fear of missing out that drives a lot of us, that you just want this thing, and if you don't get it, you're gonna have to wait. You don't like waiting, you don't like not being one of the first people to have it. I understand that. And I also want to say all these companies I'm going to show here, most of them are smaller manufacturers. Some are big production companies, and that just underestimated the popularity of a knife. I don't think any of these companies do this on purpose. There are some companies that I know intentionally breed exclusivity just to make their stuff seem cooler. I don't think any of these companies are doing that. I think it's just either a small company that's grown as fast as they freaking can, and they're trying to get bigger and trying to make more and making a concerted effort to do that, or again, it's a big production company that just misgauged the interest in their knife. I mean, a modern world, if enthusiasts, one YouTube video can make a knife all of a sudden disappear from shelves and you have to wait forever to get another one. So instead of just being upset about it, I'm going to show a knife that's very difficult to obtain and then show you a cheaper alternative that's really easy to get your hands on. Whether it's something to get instead or something that's just going to hold you over until the other one's available. That's kind of more the route I would go, because all the difficult to obtain knives I'm going to show you are well worth the wait. But if you want something to play with while you wait, these are good alternatives. So I hope this is valuable consumer advice. I've rambled enough now, but you got to look at a pretty knife for a while. So here we go. I'm just going to show one knife and then one alternative choice. I'm not saying it's the best one. I'm not saying it's the only one. I'm just saying it's one alternative choice. We're going to start out with one that I know every time I post a picture of this on Instagram, I get 4 or 5 people talking about what number they are on the waiting list, all that kind of stuff. It's the TRM Atom, a knife that is extremely well worth the wait. And they're going to put out, now they've changed their policies to where they do wait lists, but they don't want the wait list to get hugely long. So they do short wait lists. So if you get on that wait list, you're going to get one within I think it's 3 to 6 months, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but you're going to get one in fairly short order if you're on that wait list. Very reasonably priced knife for what it is. $189 for the base version. This one's more like $210. Fantastic knife. Maybe my perfect EDC for me personally. I think they're very much well worth the wait. Great company, great people to deal with, but they are hard to get your hands on. If you're waiting for the next wait list to come up and you don't know what you want, here's an alternative that's very easy to get your hands on. You can get them all over the place. They're $80. And also one of my favorite perfect EDCs, and I would say the Cold Steel Code 4. Yes, it is a larger knife for sure, but also very slim, very lightweight, much like the Atom is. Very simple construction, much like the Atom is. S35 VN steel, very good still. Not 20 CV of the Atom, but it's pretty good. They're like 80 or 90 bucks. They're great knives. They are fantastic. I think I still maintain it's the best thing Cold Steel has ever made. It's a fantastic knife. And 80 bucks, you can get one all day long, a whole lot of places. And it's a good, just little alternative to hold you over. Again, it's larger, but I think in a lot of ways it's kind of similar. Very slim, lightweight, very good all-around use EDC. Next up, I don't mean to pick on TRM, but we're going to put another TRM out here. If you want one of the smaller TRMs, the Neutron, which is also extremely popular, and also they do the same waiting list thing, so just cut and paste, what I said before. Also fairly hard to get your hands on. 3-inch blade. Very slim, lightweight knife. I would say a good alternative to this, and also one that's fairly easy to find. I did not check availability before I did this, but they're usually around. The Spyderco Sage 5 is a good alternative to it. It's a little thicker, not quite as lightweight, but it's more fun to fidget with. S30V steel versus, again, 20CV. So not quite as nice as steel, but reasonably priced. Actually, pretty close in price to the Atom. They're not really that far off. I think a Sage 5 is 130, 140. I apologize. I thought I looked that up and I had it in my head, but it's gone now. Where this is like, 170, something like that. So it's a little closer in price, but yeah, you can get them, and it's a great freaking knife. The Sage 5 is fantastic. I recommend it all day long, all the time. It's one of my favorite Spydercos. I love the Sage 5. I like it a lot more than the Parrot 3. Yeah, Sage 5. It'll hold you over. It's still going to be fun. It's still cool. All your knife friends are still going to be impressed by it while you wait for your Atom, or your Neutron, I'm sorry. All those science terms. My brain don't think science. Next up, let's do, this is one I had on the channel very recently, and this one actually isn't available at all yet, but it's going to be in August, and when it is, it's going to be gone in about 20 minutes. I'm just telling you, this is the way it is. This is the Boost Blades Mini Smoke. The Boost Blade Smoke, they do everything in small runs and batches. Everything's made by We, but they just do them in small batches, and they blow out like that. So if you miss the drop, which is supposed to be sometime in August, so sometime next month when this is actually going to be available, and you don't get your hands on one, but you still want a cool, smaller front flipper for funsies, I highly recommend the Civivi McKenna. This is the Damascus blade version. This one's like 85 bucks. This is going to be about 220. A lot less expensive. Still really fun to play with. The Damascus version, excuse me, for the $85 one, I'm not sure what the long-term availability is going to be on this particular version, but the standard version is still great. You get D2 steel instead of the Damascus, and it's a great knife. It's really fun to flip around and play with. It's a regular production. It's an Elijah Isham design, so you're still getting a popular designer name. Boost and Isham are both very well-respected designers, and I think it's a great alternative if you just don't want to wait around for a mini smoke. This is a great little alternative. Or again, if you just want to get something to hold you over until the next run of them, they do. They usually do more than one run of everything. They'll make a slight change and do another run. But yeah. And again, this is a prototype. It's going to be a little bit different when it comes out, but I know a lot of people are really anxious about that. So I'm just trying to give you a consolation prize if you miss out. I don't know if I'm even going to be able to get one of them, to be honest with you. I'm going to do my darndest, though. Next up, let's do one of the poster children for having to wait a long time. The North Arm Skaha. About 220 bucks. They're not horribly expensive. This is the carbon fiber version, but man, you gotta wait for one. It took me a year to get my hands on one of these. I've told this story over and over again. I actually worked out a trade for somebody to get this one, and then the same day my number came up, and they email you and say, okay, you're allowed to order now. You get on a waiting list thing. But yeah, it was a year. It was a year from the time I got on the list until I got the email saying that I could order one. Now their lists are closed until the end of the year. So, because they're so backed up. Small Canadian company, as I understand, it's like a father and son. It's a small company. Again, they're not trying to be jerks. They're making them as fast as they can, but it is a fantastic, fantastic knife for sure, and well worth the wait. Well worth the price they charge for it. But if you want something cool and carbony, and about the same price and much easier to get your hands on. Again, this is a knife that's not always in stock everywhere, but they restock very, very often. I would say the Southern Guide Spider Monkey. It still has that cool exclusivity to it a little bit. It's still got the carbon fibery goodness. It's not as fun to fidget with as the North Arm, but you can just go buy one, and they come in a bunch of different versions. There's a copper version. Some companies do a special edition G10 one. That's not rust. I just wanted to make sure of that. There, I haven't had this out in a couple of days. That's just pocket schmutz. But yeah, it's a Southern Grind, awesome company. A portion of their proceeds go to an amazing charity. They're a great company, and it's a really cool knife. And I think almost equal in cool factor to the Skaha. The only reason the Skaha is cooler is because it's really hard to get one. So yeah, if you can't get a Skaha, you want to hold yourself over a bit, I'd recommend a Spider Monkey. I'd recommend the Spider Monkey anyway. It's just an awesome freaking knife. The same with almost all of my tools. Everything I'm showing are good knives. They're good to have anyway. But just kind of something to hold you over. Now, next up, what are we going to do next? We will do the Chavez Ultra 229. Now, this one's a bit... I'm pushing the boundaries of my own thing here, but this is one I bought at Blade Show. They released a few at Blade Show, and they sold out. And everybody loves them, and it is going to be a production knife from Riot, but we don't know when. We don't know how many they're going to make. The Chavez Riot collabs do sell out often, at least in some forms. This is only coming in 2 different versions. Just they're all going to have the same handle here, hand rub satin or the machine satin, and that's going to be it. Some of the other ones, like the Rendition that comes in multiple versions, you can find one version or the other, but you're not be able to find the one you want necessarily. So I expect this to be, even when it comes out, to be fairly limited availability. Hopefully I'm wrong there, and they're all over the place, because it's a freaking great knife. It's just a big, beefy sucker, and I love it to tiny little pieces. But a good alternative, if you just want something that you can always get, I would say, is the ZT-0562 Type. Pretty regularly available. This was $375. This is $280. So both are very, very expensive knives. Don't get me wrong, but this is less expensive. And I really like them both. I'm gonna do a battle to the death with them at some point here, and I don't know which one I'm gonna pick, to be honest with you. I like them both a lot for different reasons. They're both great freaking knives, but this one is a lot more available, and it's a ZT. It's easy to get a hold of them and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would recommend. If you're upset that you couldn't get a 229, try an 0562 Type. It'll make you happy. Now, lastly, here's one that is ostensibly a regular production knife from a very large company. Should be around, but it isn't. And all I get from Spyderco is soon. That's all they say, is when it's going to be back in stock everywhere. This is the Spyderco Para. If any knife on this group is the epitome of all of us YouTubers saying sorry about that, I think they made a run that they thought was reasonable, and every reviewer, YouTube, internet, everything raved about it when we got it, and they sold out pretty quickly. And it's taken a while to get back. It is made in the Taiwan plant. It's not as big as the U.S. plant, so they're trying to get them back in stock. I'm sure they will be fairly soon. But who knows, they might sell out again. It might be something like the Spidey Chef, where they just do runs here and there, and they're always hard to get. That could be what happens with it. But it's a fantastic freaking knife. But yeah, a bit frustrating. This is another knife every time I show it, somebody says, when are they coming back in stock? Do you know when they're coming back in stock? I don't have that much communication with Spyderco. The last time I talked to them was a Blade Show. So I know they're trying. I know it's going to be back in stock. I know it's not discontinued. But yeah. It's hard to get your hands on, but a really good alternative to this, and this is what, a 190, 200? God, I'm being really very bad on prices today. You can go look those up when I'm done, but a very good alternative to it is for $70, Kershaw bare knuckle. It's a fairly similar knife in kind of purpose. I mean, this is designed to be a food preppy kind of knife, and it is very good at that. And this is a flipper with no spidey hole, but I know they just remind each other. They remind me of each other a whole lot. I know in my personal choices when I carry stuff, these are 2 that I do debate between sometimes, even though one is much more expensive. But the bare knuckle is a fantastic action, especially once they break in. I mean, this is just as smooth as any ZT that I've ever had. Unassisted. Always got to specify the Kershaw. USA made Kershaw. 14C 28N steel. Yeah, the bare knuckle is amazing, and I think does kind of somewhat fit in that same sort of realm as the Para. So that would be my alternative there if you're sick of waiting for a Para. Is try a bare knuckle. And I know there's a new color coming out too, with a green and a stonewash blade or black wash blade. I don't like it, but if you like green, that's cool. I like the standard one. But hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope it's been somewhat valuable consumer advice for you. I try to every now and then veer away from just doing reviews and comparisons and just give you my ideas. So I hope you guys have liked this. I don't know why I'm dragging all these knives out, because I don't have time to get all of them out before I say, hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.